I'm just waiting on. Good evening, everybody. This is a special meeting of the Mayor and Council, Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in Borough Hall, by email to the Ridgewood News Director, and by submission to all persons entitled to same, as provided by a law schedule, including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Freeman.
Present.
Councilman Borloni.
Here.
Councilwoman Steve. Here. Councilman Kamigo.
Here.
Councilwoman Davis. Here. Councilman Papaleo.
Here.
And Mayor Mignon.
Here. We have one item on for discussion. Mr. Costa, DOT Municipal Aid Application, Boga Road.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Good evening.
Remember when I was here, I guess it was a few weeks ago, we discussed going for a state grant on Boga Road and whether or not, how much parking we would pick up. I think the mayor requested that we look at the existing conditions, and then if we eliminated parking on the westerly side, how would that affect if we could do angle parking on the easterly side? What we did is, existing conditions would be on your sheet, shows the total amount of parking, 140 spaces. Then if we made parallel spaces on both sides, you would basically add a few parking spaces to get back to the same. If you actually striped it, because people haphazardly park all over the place. If we went to 30-degree parking and eliminated the easterly side, you would get 120, so you'd actually lose parking, and you would need 30-degree parking in order not to widen the roadway, in order to have the proper backup distance. Then the next ones would be if you had 45-degree parking and 60-degree parking. 45, there's enough right-of-way to squeeze it on the easterly side without taking any property. And then the next one, if you had 60-degree, which would give you the most parking, you would have to have a road widening, and you would need actually some temporary, or rather road widening easements from the apartments in order to generate enough space. So that number would have an acquisition cost. And Alan, the only thing would be, or mayor or council, I don't know if it makes sense to maybe negotiate with the apartments to see if they would be willing to give the property for free. Then it might make sense to go into the 60-degree parking, because that would back out. We put in roughly a number of $500,000 for acquisition costs.
But no acquisition cost for option 4.
Option 5.
No.
Option 4, no acquisition. You might need some temporary easements just to grade
no
out,
right-of-way acquisition.
but no right-of-way acquisition.
So if I'm reading this right, option 4, you can pick up 100 spaces?
Correct.
Okay, last question. Why is it $2 million if we're just striking?
No, this would be, because we're going for, basically, I mean, and maybe I was tasked to do the wrong
Route 4 to
thing.
Howland.
This would be a grant going from Route 4 to Howland, so it would be, if we just did regular resurfacing, milling, paving, curb, sidewalks, that comes up to roughly $1.6 million. If you go with the angle, we have to move the curb on the easterly side back and widen the roadway. So put in base, stabilized base, DGA, stabilized base, and then you're adding roughly 12 feet of pavement. So Boga would have to get bigger in order to have the proper backup. So the numbers are going to get a little bit greater.
And that would be for 60-degree.
60-degree, you would need actually acquisition, because you don't have it, even though it's a 75-foot right-of-way, you don't have enough to go east in order to get the proper backup distance. So you'd either have to acquire from one side or acquire, which probably doesn't make sense, acquire from both sides, which would be even more difficult. So the idea would be you push the center line over and just acquire one direction. And then we looked at it to eliminate parking on the westerly side. What would that, would we pick up any if we went to angle? And you really, you do pick up some, but I don't think it's that significant. That I guess the only way you would do that would help the residences where people are parking in front of their homes towards Route 4. Then I guess if you want to step further, could you do angle parking on both sides of the street where the apartments are on the opposite side? But then looking at that, the topography kind of tails off, so you probably have to build some retaining walls there, which would add a little bit of cost. But again, a lot of basically this is for us putting in a grant, in order to get a grant, so we have to,
We would first start from Howland Avenue, moving south. I think that's what we talked about.
yeah,
going
well,
from
again,
Howland to go
well, we
south.
would put the limits of the project, Route 4 to Howland, and then once the state, if the state does give us the money, then certainly you can go any direction you want, start in the middle, start at the north, start at the south, as long as it's within the project limits.
I want to ask something, which probably is kind of crazy, but we have a parking problem at Cherry Hill. Would it even be feasible to think of the project from basically the schools, from, I think that's Wayne, all the way to Route 4? Is that starting to get crazy?
It's up to the council.
Well, it's not our property, so we'd have to get the Board of Ed,
Yeah,
at least as part of Cherry Hill, if we approach at the right of way.
yeah.
The section, we looked at this conceptually from Wayne to the driveway, and there's too many trees and stuff and drop off, so that part probably, I don't know how feasible it would be to do this. Certainly in front of the school where you have open space, you could do something like this, but I think they've looked at various configurations of angle parking or a circular driveway or parking in a circular driveway on the school property.
And that's not feasible.
Well,
I'm just saying,
it can
since we're
be,
talking
it
about the
can be,
grant.
but it would, we'd have to do that in consultation with the schools.
The only thing, I mean, we have a small window, we have to get this in
30 days.
30 days.
So it's not.
I'm just,
Well, I'm saying, you would, if you need their permission, you would probably, I don't know if you need, you're gonna need
I think,
we need a formal resolution from, obviously, the
I
council.
think the council is talking about theoretically, we can always, in future phases, do that. You know, the first phase is not gonna be
No,
there.
no question, but I'm saying if you wanted to put it in the grant is due in October, so we would need, you would need a formal resolution from them possibly, I don't know if you have done that.
And I think when we get to we would not get to a resolution with them that quickly, so I think if we do it, it would be something that would be added in the future.
Right.
My question is, did you lay this out on a tax memo, or, because my question would be, what do we think we're
I can't
going?
have everything I want, which means you guys can't get everything. We actually just put it on the board, and again, not ready. I can certainly send stuff to everybody tomorrow, but we actually put the angles on a.
Yeah, I'd like to look at that a little more closely to see.
I mean, I'll leave this tonight, and they should put enough pass arounds for everybody.
But if you have PDFs, you can.
Yeah, we'll put this, I'll clean it up tomorrow morning on PDF.
So we looking to have a resolution on the next meeting in September in order to meet this application?
Yeah, or I think,
Or is there a resolution on tonight? I mean, I don't-
No, we're not prepared to do it.
If that gives enough time if we decide to proceed with our next meeting.
I think we have to look at it piecemeal also, because what happens if we don't get, we're not gonna get $2 million.
No, right.
So,
No.
you know, so if we only get a first phase, and then if they decide they're not gonna do another phase, I mean, we need to look at what we can get, and,
Well, I mean, the question becomes, if Bogart Road, let's just say under the resurfacing, the yearly resurfacing, if there's X amount of dollars that you're gonna put towards annual resurfacing, if you throw a little extra money in that, supposedly the state's gonna double their allowance. Alan, I think that's what Mr. Lovelace was hinting to, that if it's 150, 160, possibly next year they might double that amount. Again, anything, who knows?
again, the 300,000 is not gonna get us very.
Well, I'm saying 300 if the council decides to throw a little
Yes,
bit
and if
more
we were
out.
able to, but again, then what would we get for, you know, 600,000, you know, I think that's what we need, some guidance on.
The deadline for the grant is October 6th, and our next meeting, public meeting, will be October 2nd. So we would have time to do the resolution.
I would also suggest you come up with an alternative, just in case.
Next meeting is on the 18th.
Do you have an alternative?
An alternative to
Work session.
A different project. If we were to go with the traditional, just so we have something in the hopper in case this doesn't look like it's going to be feasible. We would have
Howland
an-
Avenue, Section 7.
well, we're in for discretionary aid right now. I mean, we're in front of them for discretionary. If we get discretionary, that would end that. I think it's self-defeating if we put it in.
Yeah, would you?
I mean, just from my perspective, I mean, I obviously see the cost, but we know the benefit. It's a huge issue, parking over in Cherry Hill, and if this project adding, if you went with the phase 4, which, just from a cost-benefit analysis seems to be the best choice, and I think it's the one that Mr. Costa, it's highlighted, so.
Don't say it, unless they, if the apartments give you the land, because in that 2.7 is an acquisition cost.
Sure.
If they say, okay, we'll be a partner in this, and we will give this land for the widening, then maybe the option number 5 makes sense. And I'm not sure how much.
7,000 would drop, 700,000 would
Say by
drop off.
500.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean,
But
it's
again,
something to
until we have a
explore.
conversation, that would be difficult to do. You can really only work within the limits that we have there.
I think we should have a little bit more information about that option before we discuss it again. So is that something Mr. Sarlo would do, or the mayor would do, just to know if that was even, they'd consider it?
Yeah, there has to be.
I mean, we have a couple different, we have a couple of different property owners there. One is, I believe he's an attorney, if I'm not mistaken, because we dealt with him at Howland and Kindercommons.
One side is fee-owned, the other one is co-op, right? So co-op would be a little more
I
challenging.
think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's different ownerships there.
But again, I think even if we were to pursue option 4, well, it's 45, but you could roll it, you can modify it going forward if we had to, and say we got.
I think as long as it's
know.
within the project limits, which would be in this case Howland for Route 4, we can certainly ask that to Rich. If we needed acquisition, I don't know if that would trigger any new issues.
No, but it may make them less likely to give us, yes,
Right.
so I would rather try to go with something straightforward, and we can look down the line to do that as it's going on, and then roll it into.
Straightforward is easy, shovel-ready is easy, where they
And-
know that it's going to happen and they're willing to fund it because they know something's going to get done.
Are you essentially talking about going to, is it past the current sidewalk, or is?
Past. I think there's maybe a foot or two past the sidewalk. The problem is you're going to have to reduce the width of the sidewalk. But again,
Well, you
I mean,
need
it's not a
more than that.
boulevard there, so to speak, where you need,
It's 24 feet.
Still
You
the
don't-
ADA?
Yes.
so that's all you need to need, a 4-foot walk. I mean, you don't need a 6 or 7 foot walk there because,
Are we going as far as Total One? Is that far south, are we going?
yes,
So how does that impact on their driveway?
it would be starting just north of them.
And I don't want the public to get afraid we're gonna be doing this in front of the houses. We're talking about where the.
No, in the apartments.
Yeah,
it's on the
apartments.
Yeah, so, when we get down to that end, it's all residential. So
Right, you're not gonna
So
angle.
I don't want the public thinking we're going to do this in front of the houses.
Do we need a motion there?
Yeah, for conceptual approval to move the application forward.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Good.
Bob.
And I will send this around to everybody tomorrow, I apologize.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have one item on our consent agenda, amend contract with Costa Engineering for Fifth Avenue Section 4 in the amount not to exceed $3,500. This is an additional $3,500
An additional 3,500.
for inspection?
That's what gets on.
He's running the.
So
He's
moved.
running, but again, maybe Mr. Sarlo has to talk to him again. I know you've spoken to him about keeping the contracts within the budgets, and when he gets to a certain point, he needs to notify us, and we can't keep doing this last minute change. And I know you sent another one out.
And I'll be sending another one out. Also just got today.
Seconding, Councilman Bartolone's.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
I guess as we're having a public meeting, there is an opportunity now to open to the public. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're open to the public for the first time of what will be probably several opportunities tonight to speak before the council. If anyone has any questions or comments, you can do so now. There will be another opportunity at the regular meeting. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close the hearing to the public, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I have a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Special meeting is adjourned. All ready? Welcome, everybody. This is the regular meeting of Mayor and Council for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Can I please ask everyone to join me in a moment of silent prayer? I ask everybody to remember at least 60 people known who have been killed from the after effects of Hurricane Harvey. I also ask us to keep in our thoughts and prayers two local families who lost loved ones this past couple weeks. Bonita George, a longtime borough resident, and Peter Lotet, not a longtime resident, but a very young man at 50 years old, who leaves behind his wife and 2 children. Councilman Canigo, please lead us in salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in Borough Hall, by email to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and by submission to all persons entitled to same as provided by law on a schedule including the date and time of this meeting. I would like to remind all members of the public that we have 3 fire exits in our council chambers, 1 on each side of the dais and 1 in the rear. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Fredo?
Present.
Councilman Borloni?
Here.
Councilman Steve? Here. Councilman Canigo?
Here.
Councilwoman Davis? Here. Councilman Papaleo?
Here.
And Mayor Young.
Here. Can I please have a motion for the approval of the minutes from the Mayor and Council regular meeting of August 15, 2017?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstentions? We have a public hearing. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the hearing, please.
Local assessments for curbs, sidewalks, and driveway aprons for Fifth Avenue Reconstruction Project, Section 4, from Midland Avenue to the Oroville border.
This is a typical public hearing we have. It's been borough policy for a number of years when we do a project funded by DOT or other grants, that the residents who are going to receive immediate benefit are assessed a portion of the engineering fees to support that project, and this is what this hearing is for. Can I have a motion open to the public, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Borloni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Steve? Yes. Councilwoman Canigo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis? Yes. Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
We're open to the public. Does anybody have any questions, comments regarding the local assessment with regard to Fifth Avenue Reconstruction, Section 4? Seeing no one, we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Borloni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Steve? Yes. Councilman Canigo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
Mayor, just like to thank and recognize Jim Anzavino, our tax assessor, who attended tonight for this hearing.
Oh, that's all you, okay, Jim, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
We have a proclamation this evening declaring September 2017 as National Preparedness Month. I know our OEM coordinator, former Chief Thrace, is here. See if we know how much you like this. proclamation reads, whereas any community has and can be affected by emergencies caused by extreme weather, disruption to utilities, epidemics, and deliberate acts of terrorism. Whereas emergencies can happen anytime and anywhere without notice, so it is never too early to prepare for potential disaster where there be limited or no availability of fresh water, electricity, natural gas, means of communication, fuel, food, or local emergency services. And whereas since its inception in 2004, National Preparedness Month is observed each September in the United States to encourage Americans to take steps to prepare for emergencies in their homes, businesses, schools, and communities. And whereas the borough proactively prepares and has established plans and procedures to deploy in the case of various emergencies, coordinated through the borough's emergency management coordinator, the borough's local emergency management council, and police, fire, and ambulance services. And whereas National Preparedness Month is an opportunity to raise awareness and to encourage individuals to take important preparedness steps, including getting an emergency supply kit, making a family emergency plan, being informed about the different emergencies that may affect them, as well as taking necessary steps to get trained and become engaged in community preparedness and response efforts. And whereas September was chosen as National Preparedness Month partly because it's peak hurricane season in the Atlantic, but mostly because of the tragedies of September 11, 2001, which highlighted to the nation the importance of being prepared. Now, therefore, I, as Mayor of the Borough River Edge, do hereby proclaim September 2017 as National Preparedness Month. We strongly encourage all families and individuals throughout our community to prepare an emergency communication plan, arrange emergency shelter or an evacuation plan, and have emergency supplies and first aid kits. Residents are encouraged to join efforts so that they are better prepared to meet the challenges that may occur when disaster strikes, and ensure that all our people have the necessary knowledge to protect themselves. We remain strong and resilient no matter what befalls us, and the most vulnerable are protected as well. Chief, on behalf of the borough, please accept this proclamation. Thank you. And I guess obviously we've seen what's been going on in Texas with the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. Florida is preparing for another hurricane. So obviously this is timely, and it's always a good reminder for us to be prepared, especially like I tell my kids, to have a communication plan to know where, so we know where they are at all times and they know where we are, so if we have to get in touch with them, they know where we are. Does that get anything else, Chief?
Do you have any questions?
All right, thank you, Chief. We also have a special presentation tonight, Fire Department Awards. Chief, would you like to?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to present our awards at the council meeting. At this time, we have pass the vote to ex-Chief Greg Critty as the incidents were back in 2015 when he was the chief.
Did that way too fast.
That's good, or take time.
Mayor Mignon, members of the council, thank you for allowing us to recognize our firefighters. For two extrication calls that happened in the borough, as you know, we train constantly. Every Tuesday night we're in the firehouse doing training, and we wanted to recognize our firefighters for just going above and beyond that little extra, not just the normal activated fire alarm, but these two calls put all of our training in place. Everything that we train for, these calls, we exercise that training, and actually made a difference in some people's lives. So we felt that we need to recognize these members. We are a little behind. We were supposed to do it last year, but better late than never. So without further ado, I'd just like to read a brief narrative from each incident, call each member up. Each member will be getting a certificate, like that, and they will also be getting an extrication unit citation, because they were part of a team. We don't single out any one member. They were all part of that team, whether it be on the engine, the rescue. It was teamwork that got everybody out. So I'd like to read it. Also, when I call them up, their rank will be at the time of the incident. At 11:50 a.m. on January 13, 2015, the River Edge Fire Department was dispatched to report a motor vehicle accident with a rollover and entrapment on Windsor Road just south of Kensington. I remember when the call came in thinking, well, that's not really a common place for a rollover with entrapment on Windsor Road, but it can happen. Responding units were Chief Caridi, Assistant Chief Schultz, River Edge Engine 3 and 4, and Rescue 1. As part of our automatic mutual aid with the Borough of Wardell for extrications, Wardell also responded under command of Chief Dan Nywaning and their Squad 22. On arrival, we found River Edge Police on scene with a single vehicle accident with the car on its side with an elderly female occupant trapped inside the car. River Edge units working alongside the River Edge Ambulance Corps and members of the Wardell Squad 22 stabilized the vehicle and assisted with extricating the elderly female from the vehicle by removing the windshield. The patient was stabilized, packaged, and transported to the hospital with minor injuries. In keeping with the finest traditions of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department, it's my pleasure to award the following members a unit citation bar certificate for their efforts and professional performance at this incident. And again, this is their rank at the time of the incident. We have assistants, and if these gentlemen come up in order as your call, because that's how I have the certificates done. Assistant Chief Schultz, Captain Leonard Coyman, Lieutenant Frank Puglisi, who could not be with us tonight, Lieutenant Tim Carroll, Lieutenant Ben Silver, firefighters Anthony Alexander, Bill Camera, Brendan Caridi, who cannot be here tonight, Brian Coyman, who cannot be here tonight, Tom Goodwin, Stu Heinzinger, who I don't believe is present, John Lynch, who could not make it, Tom Smith, Pete Stitz, and Roger Tarpey. Both of them could not make it. So, gentlemen. Chief, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Our second incident. At 2:30 p.m. on September 23rd, 2015, the River Edge Fire Department dispatched to report a motor vehicle accident with entrapment at the intersection of Elm Avenue and Monroe Avenue. Responding units were Chief Caridi, Assistant Chief Schultz, River Edge Engine 3, and Rescue 1. And again, as part of our automatic mutual aid with Wardell on extrications, Wardell also responded under the command of Chief Dan Nywaning and their Squad 22. On arrival, we found River Edge Police on scene with two vehicle accident with two female occupants occupying one of the vehicles. The driver of this vehicle was entrapped. River Edge units working alongside the River Edge Ambulance Corps and members of Wardell Squad 22 assisted with stabilization of the vehicle and the extrication of the driver by removal of the driver's door. Fire department members also assisted the Ambulance Corps with packaging the patient. Both patients were stabilized, packaged, and transported to the hospital with minor injuries. In keeping with the finest traditions of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department, it's my pleasure to award the following members a unit citation bar and certificate for their efforts and professional performance at this incident. And again, the rank at time of incident. Assistant Chief Schultz, Lieutenant Tim Carroll, firefighters Anthony Alexander, Tyler Aronoff, who cannot be here tonight, Corey Benson, Richard Berry, Bill Camera, John Franson, John Lynch, who cannot attend, Eric Phillips, who also cannot attend, Pete Stitz, and Roger Tarpey. Good job. Next. Well, that concludes our presentation, and again, thank you so much for allowing us to do this.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you to, again, all our volunteer firemen. Words don't do it justice. We know what you put on the line for us to protect our lives, our property, and we're very pleased, and I guess we're also honored that you were able to come here tonight and let us partake in these awards. It's very important. I'm glad to hear about that. It was a culmination of all different trainings, so you knew that obviously when the time came, you were able to respond, and thankfully we have people whose lives were affected positively because of your actions, and again, we thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming. Just give me a minute to clear out. There's so much more exciting stuff coming up with the agenda. I just don't know why people do not want to stay.
Maybe when we have these presentations, Mayor, we need to have like coffee or something so that people stay
Or
to the end, you know, or just put it at the end, yeah. Let's just something.
Go-karts and then we act.
Can I please have a motion to open for public comments on any issue on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're open for comments or questions on any specific agenda item. There'll be another opportunity to address the council at the end of the meeting. Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of personnel changes. Can I please have a motion to approve the promotion of Peter Stitz, Department of Public Works, from Mechanic 2 to Mechanic 1, and a salary change from an annual Step 4 Mechanic 2 salary of $64,901 to Step 1 Mechanic 1 $75,255 effective September 5th, 2017.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I please have a motion to approve the reappointment of Mary Donahue to the Historic Newbridge Landing Park Commission for a 3-year term which will expire on September 30th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I please have a motion to approve the salary change of Brian Estevez, Patrol Officer, from an annual salary of $38,552 to Patrol Officer 18th grade salary of $46,813 effective September 6th, 2017?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion to approve the salary change of Zachariah Ham, Patrol Officer, from an annual salary of $38,552 to Patrol Officer 18th grade, salary $46,813, effective September 6, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion from the floor on behalf of the Personnel Committee to approve the hiring of Jennifer D. Martinez of 90 Knapp Avenue, Clifton, New Jersey, to a clerical floating position, probation 6 months, $16 per hour, effective September 6th. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This was a position we talked about. This was a recommendation of Stephanie and Alan, and we had heard in the personnel subcommittee. We thought it'd be better to get somebody on board sooner rather than later. We have various pieces of correspondence listed in the agenda, and they're available for copy or review through the Borough Clerk's office. We also have a monthly report from the tax collector for July 2017. There are no ordinances on for first reading this evening. We have one ordinance on for public hearing, ordinance 1722. Madam Clerk, please read by title.
Ordinance 1722, an ordinance appropriating $479,000 from the general capital fund balance to supplemental funding for the undertaking of various improvements to the River Edge Senior Community Center.
And we've talked about in the past, this is basically taking funding from other ordinances and putting them all into one general reallocating prior approved funding toward the community center in the amount of $479,000. That's the short answer for what the ordinance does. It's not appropriating new money, it's reappropriating old money. Can I have a motion to open public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're open to the public on ordinance 1722. If anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance.
And on your ballot, you can sign it, I mean, when we start doing it.
We
Where
are,
does the money come from?
this is from previous bond ordinances where there may have been unexpended funds left within those ordinances. We take the balances and we're appropriating them so we can use them potentially towards a new community center building.
Another one on Continental?
Yes. Seeing no more comments, can I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to adopt ordinance 17-22, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Prater?
Yes.
Councilman Bordelon?
Yes.
Councilman Castillo? Councilman Domingo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis? Yes. And Councilman Cavalera?
Yes.
Very good. We have resolutions by consent this evening. Resolutions number 17-297 through 17-309 and 17-311-313. Would any member of the council like pulled out for separate vote or consideration or discussion any of those resolutions?
Just 17-313. And if you read it, you'll see why.
Oh. Would someone like to make a motion regarding resolution 17-313, which is permitting possession and consumption of alcoholic beverages, except for the Bartolonis, at a block party on Lake Avenue?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion by consent, please, for 17-297 to 17-309, 17-311, and 17-312.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Councilman Bartoloni, as our finance chair, will you please read and move resolution 17-310, payment of bills?
Yes, Mary. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee, now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $2,329,492.03. Capital account, $38,607.87. Recreation account, $4,030.91. Animal welfare account, $358. Self-insurance account, $231.67. Trust other account, $37,598. Open space account, $18,413.53. Trust other developers account, $14,367.50. So moved.
Your second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I please have a motion open again to the public, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're open to public. Ms. McQueen? Comments, questions?
I'd like to.
Please just come forward so they can get you on the microphone.
Maybe I'm hoping somebody can answer this question. So, sorry, Cindy Bequeath, 7457 Barron. At 4:30 on Monday morning, we were awakened by trash trucks going down our street. And the trash truck not only picked up trash, but picked up the vegetation all at one time. Is that something that is, I mean, first of all, I didn't know they were allowed to come through that early in the morning. Maybe in 4:45, but they also picked up vegetation and put it all into the same place.
You talking yesterday, Monday?
Yesterday,
The
Monday,
short answer is
yesterday.
no, they're
Every
not.
holiday.
The short answer is no, they should not be coming that early.
Yeah.
And no, they should not be mixing the vegetation with the garbage.
Everything was picked up
So
at one
that
time.
we'll have to
We-
bring that to Mr. Lynch's attention, and he will need to contact the garbage company.
Okay.
It's a quirk in our contract that they actually are permitted to pick up on holidays, but that's something that boroughs had a long-standing.
It was really early. We went out.
But, yeah,
Just was early.
that's not,
Too-
that should not be permitted.
Okay. I had three things. I didn't write it down, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna send John a memo tomorrow.
I'm just making sure he follows up on Mr. Lynch.
I do a lot of walking through town, and I noticed, over the last few weeks, I noticed that our street has a lot of small pieces of glass, and as I walk up Continental towards Fifth, there's glass on the sides of the roads. I called the DPW this morning to see if they could take a look and see what they could do. We have a block party next Sunday, and we're talking about having everybody on our block going out with, those backs, you know, for your car.
Blow.
Yeah, no, not blower, it's not gonna get it up.
But the glass is on the street or on the?
On the streets.
What is that?
But it's not just on my street, it seems to be in a lot of different places, so I don't know what's happening with pickup maybe.
No.
I asked, they're gonna go take a look at it, but I just wanted to make you aware. There's a lot of
They
it,
have the location.
in pieces all over.
If you can name a couple of streets for Mr. Lynch, because we do have a pretty aggressive street sweeping program. John has the sweepers out every day.
Well, and I did call DPW this morning, they're gonna send somebody out to look at it, but I'm not sure that the street sweeper's gonna get up all these small pieces.
It should.
Okay, so if you were to go from 7th Avenue on Continental up to the top of the street, there's, on the north side, there's a lot. I didn't walk on the south side today to look at it and see if it's still there, but there's a lot, in pieces ranging, you know, from the size of the print here to maybe the size of a penny. So it's not really small pieces. And so they're taking care of it, but it's not just there. I've been seeing it around town. I don't know if when maybe they're picking up our glass, that maybe things are dropping and they're not.
You know, I would think that would be more likely if it weren't our own personnel doing recycling.
Yeah.
But, you know, John is very, John is very fastidious, so I don't
I
think
know,
that.
so I don't know what's going on, but there seems to be.
But I guess he'll be able to look and see if he can discern if it looks like it's, random people breaking glass bottles, or if it is something, larger. But
The other question is, can I get an update on what's going on with the park, with the trees, and what's going on over at Cherry Hill? Was there anything that happened from that? They were getting trees that were being given to Preparedness?
We entered, council approved an interlocal agreement with the county to take the trees. That was the last, I don't know if there's any
Nothing's
action
happened.
undertaken, but.
It's
the
not,
council-
nothing's.
No, the council has accepted, agreed,
Right.
so if Council Papaleo has an update.
So what we've agreed to is that we're going to allow Preparedness and the county to take trees. And both Preparedness and the county are going to do that in late September or
Okay.
during October. Because they want to take the trees out and plant them all in the same day or in the same several days, so that because the puts the tree under a shock. So that's why nothing has occurred as of yet. They're going to be looking towards their planting schedule. They're going to organize it with their departments, and then once they know when they want to do it, then they're just going to contact Mr. Lynch and move ahead.
And then my last question is, I've been looking at the tree plantings in Memorial Park. There's been a lot of new trees put in there. You all have seen them, I'm assuming. Some of them, I have a picture, are within 4 feet of each other, or 5 feet. They're very close. Is that because they're going to be, I can't believe a tree's going to be put, they're closer than Bermuda Mia. Some of them are very, very close to each other. Are we transplanting them again or
I
something?
can't answer that
Because I
question.
can't
I'd
imagine.
assume that, the shade tree folks are experts. They lay these things out, and I guess Councilman Papaleo could follow
I'd be
up.
happy to
see if
show
there's
you a
any-
picture. Just,
Is it possible that you could email me that picture?
I would be happy to. Now, there's one area right across from where the statue is, at the west side. There's a path that goes in. There's like 5 trees. They're right next to each other. And then at the exact other end, where the on Web ends, I took a picture of that one yesterday. I can't imagine them, if they grow at all, they're going to have to be moved. So maybe someone could.
So I would be,
because I'm liaison to DPW
Okay, that'd
and
be great.
to, so I'm gonna give you my card from me,
Right.
and I hope I have it. And if you could email me those pictures with the just general description of where they were, and I'll get on that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Grasso, any comments?
Yeah.
I believe we all are.
Amazingly quickly, man. There was no savings quick.
I guess it's a matter of perspective.
Exactly.
Anyway, no further comments from the public. Have a motion to close, please.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No further comments. Councilwoman Bastide, start with you this afternoon.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to update the council on the meeting Recreation Commission had the end of August. They will be installing some new equipment at both Memorial Park and Brookside Park. 2 handicap swings, one at Memorial and one at Brookside. A new seesaw at Memorial Park and a new funnel ball apparatus at Memorial Park. The Cherry Hill Field resizing to accommodate younger softball and Little League players has been completed, and it was seeded and is growing. And
And I see it's coned off, so
yes,
hopefully,
it's
as
cordoned
of
off,
Thursday.
so I think we're in good shape there. They are going to be conducting a Rutgers certification clinic for concussion training on Thursday, October 5th. Just to remind everyone, River Edge Day is October 1st from 1 to 4, with the rain date of October 8th. Any interested organizations can contact the rec department to reserve a table. The Halloween parade, the Munchkin Parade, is Saturday, October 28th at 2 o'clock, with the rain date of October 29th. It's always fun and lots of candy and things. And the holiday tree lighting is scheduled for 4 o'clock on December 2nd. So those are updates. The Mazer feasibility study subcommittee report. Just to remind the council, I've reported on this before, the Recreation Commission separated into subcommittees to review the Mazer feasibility study. Mazer had conducted a recreation engineering evaluation of all of the borough recreation properties. Those committee reports are due at the next Recreation Committee meeting, and will be shared with this body at an appropriate time shortly after that. I know the mayor's interested in, we've talked about this and taking a look at those. So they've been working very hard on reviewing those subcommittee reports, so I want to thank the commission for their hard work on that. The Environmental Commission has not met this summer. They only meet 4 times a year. I just wanted to report that they are going to be assisting a Girl Scout going for her Gold Award with a No Idle campaign project. She's been put in touch with Police Chief Tom Caridi as well to get the assistance from the police department on certain areas in the borough that may warrant some attention for this campaign. So I'll keep you posted on that. I just want to thank Chief Sturys for coming and accepting the proclamation on emergency preparedness. There is an effort underway to collect names of at-risk residents, correct? So if anyone listening or viewing this or in the audience is aware of an at-risk member of the community, we would ask you to please reach out to either the public health nurse or the division, the OEM, to make sure that they're captured on that list. And I wish everyone a successful back to school, me included, and that's it. Thank you.
Councilman. Councilman Bartoloni.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the Mayor and Council for approving the block party.
Are we invited?
No.
You just said no, I just asked.
It's being affectionately called. It's being affectionately called Oaktoberfest. It's Oak Street. I know, very bad, but that's what my wife is calling it. So not me. Traffic and safety does not meet until the end of September. We've had some complaints and from varying residents about varying parts of town regarding traffic safety and speed and speeding within the borough, and we'll be taking up those complaints and focusing on them through the end of the year. Just, I don't know if, I saw that it was lined as to where the fence will extend, Cherry.
Actually,
It was
It's
installed,
installed.
I took a look today.
Okay, I hadn't had a chance to.
I just drove down before the meeting.
Okay. And that was in response to a resident's complaint regarding people trespassing through Cherry Muse into.
We put a fence, I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a fence that's been put up. That was the solution that was came up with between DPW and Rec Commission. And I'll let Mr. DeCosta know that he was the resident. But I did speak with the chief, and we will have a police presence out there just so that residents are aware that they're not allowed to park, use that as a parking space, drop-off spot during the school year. So there will be an increased police presence out there. That was a wonderful presentation from the fire department. We don't actually get that enough, so that was nice to see. I'm sure there could many other opportunities that they could do something like that. So I encourage them to come up here and do that as often as they can. It was nice to see. So and that's it.
Okay, Councilor. Technical plan.
Thank you. We mentioned the fence at Cherry Blossom Park. The fence is up. I haven't had a chance to see it, but Councilwoman Steed said it's up, and it looks like it's always been there, which is the right way to do things. The erosion solution has come in at $8,000. It's moving forward. I talked to Bob Costa briefly, and he's satisfied with it. So is everyone else. So we'll have that problem solved. I met with Superintendent Lynch on August 29th in his office, and had a very productive conversation about where he was thinking the department should go over the next 5 years, and some suggestions for a budget, which I'll be sharing with the Personnel Committee and the Budget Committee at the appropriate times. Shade Tree has not met over the summer, though I've been in frequent contact with Liz Stewart about different residents' concerns, and I continue to be in contact with her, and Shade Tree will be meeting in just a couple of days. Beautification, again, has not met like Shade Tree, but they continue to work, and Michelle Critty and Beautification have done a lot of work during the summer, and met with her several times over the summer at different things, and so praise to Shade Tree and to Beautification for all the work they did during the summer. And that's all at this time. Thank you. Oh, no, I want to say, I know that we all feel this way. The mayor mentioned it earlier today when we had a moment of prayer, but certainly our hearts go out to the victims of the hurricane, especially those who lost their lives, but we should not forget those who lost their homes, those who lost places of employment, and those whose schools will not be opening tomorrow, and those who still are dealing with flood waters that are not ceasing. So,
Councilor Freire.
Thank you, Mayor. My comments will not take us to December, but only to next Sunday.
You have your calendar out.
I,
Take advantage.
That's the old-fashioned way. There is a Board of Education meeting tomorrow that I do plan to attend. I believe it's at Cherry Hill. And I will report back at the next mayor's session. On a going forward basis, this is more the exception than the rule, since I am traveling on Wednesdays. So on a going forward basis, I will report to the mayor meetings that I cannot attend, and leave those open to other members of the council if they wish to attend in my stead. Other personal comments, I'll keep them personal for the time being, about the validity of such liaisonship. And perhaps in the future, if necessary, we'll make comments appropriately. On Thursday, there is a key meeting with the community center, with the architects and Mr. Costa, where we will review the latest and greatest plans and a cost estimate, and hopefully be in a position to then make recommendation to the mayor to finally come out in prime time and present them to the council, and subsequent to that to the public. We'll work out something where we won't be more than 3 people, so it will not constitute a meeting, but I think council should get a preview of whatever we've been working on, certainly under this administration for the past year, but this is a project that started at least 3 years ago. Last but not least, Dulcis and Fundis. Sunday we have the grand reopening of the diner. Let's remember that. There is our block party, since I live on a block where you can have block parties. The significant others are invited, and we do plan to attend. That is it. Thank you.
Councilwoman Davis.
I just want to congratulate the firemen again that were involved in the extrication of the victims from those 2 auto accidents, and also the members of the ambulance corps and the police department. Having been a riding member for 42.5 years of the ambulance corps, I realize how lucky we are as a town to have the volunteers that we have. It's an amazing thing, and you do get to where you just take them for granted, and we should never ever do that. We're blessed. Farmers Market is doing well. I cannot believe that we're into September already. Where did the time go? We had a new vendor last week selling extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and she did great. It's really good. Not cheap, but really good. So she is in Poland this week. She will be back on September 12th and will be here till the end. So that was a plus. I was at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Indian restaurant in town with Vito and the mayor. Vito ate too much spicy food, he told me tonight.
I was under the influence. My treatment was still undergoing.
But it was very nice. I do hope that they do well. I wish them luck, and the owner is a woman. Which brought me back to when I owned that place when it was the Cobblestone Inn. So I hope she makes it. And I've been speaking with a couple of the chamber members and some of the people on the Mayor's Business Advisory Council, and we're working on an initiative to get some packages, welcome packages for new residents and businesses. So we're getting that started. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I will echo what everybody has said again by congratulating the firemen for their great work and all other service, police, and so forth. They are a real gem to our town. As far as the departments that I liaise to, the storage committee, the library, and SCORE, they haven't met this summer, so I have nothing new to report, but I hope hopefully will at the next meeting or the one after, certainly. Otherwise, it's been a great summer. River Edge is beautiful as always, and we're looking forward to the fall. So thank you.
Yes.
One more thing.
Yes.
I got a notice from Lieutenant Carroll, Tim Carroll from the fire department about the 9/11 ceremony that they're going to be having outside the Borough Hall here at 6:30 p.m. And it will be fire department, police department, and ambulance corps, and they're going to have Ed Piper coming, which.
Are we starting here? We're not starting at the library like we normally do?
No,
Yeah, this is not, that was the anniversary.
yeah, the families have ceremony every 5th year at the Memorial Garden, and then in the
Yeah.
other years we have it out here.
South at the-
Yes, I forgot it's on.
6:30. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to report on that anyway, so yes,
Oh,
it'll be,
sorry.
it's okay, no, it's 6:30 on Monday evening. Obviously, they want to try to get it after work, but also before it starts getting too dark. That's, you know, the challenge of this time of the year. And once again, I thank Dick Berry and Tim Carroll, who have been working on putting this together. It's important that we always have something every year. If it's inclement weather, we will have the ceremony indoor across the street at the firehouse. Again, I'll just re-echo or echo everybody's comments again about the awards. Again, it was wonderful to see, and like Councilman said, we hope that there's more coming. It's a good way to spend our time and recognizing these guys and girls who give their time and talents and all their efforts to us. Briefly, I want to comment on the Kindercamac Road paving. I guess we all look now, it's all done. We hope that it's done and everything is okay. There were some, I don't know how to characterize it yet, because I don't know all the timing of everything, but there were certainly some poorly executed operations, and I'm going to put at the feet of Suez Water primarily, but that's also complicated by the fact that the county pretty much pulled the trigger on this project very quickly. You know, we had been told at least 3 or 4 years ago that they were going to pave Kindercamac Road. Then we were told we can't pave it until we fix all the handicap ramps up and down Kindercamac Road, which we did. We did so, then the county said, well, we don't have the money anymore to pave it. We'll have to wait for another funding cycle. There were some issues I had brought up regarding some traffic concerns I had, some drainage issues I had. The county addressed them as they saw fit. And there were still some things unresolved, at least in my mind, when we got the notification that they're proceeding with this project, where it was supposed to start 45 days after we were notified on July 31st, but wound up starting 8 days after we were notified. So, and then that required United Water to scramble to get their work done. As people who lived on Kindercamac know, they did not finish their work in the time that they had said. People were out water for quite a period of time in some cases. And I asked Stephanie to set a meeting with Suez because I just need to get some more information about what was communicated to who, by whom, and when. Because at the end of the day, I was very proud of the way our fire, our police chief, our OEM handled all the information and all the notifications to the various residents about all the changing circumstances, because they were dealing with information that was either incomplete or not completely accurate when we were given it. And again, that's not necessarily to blame anyone, but it is reality, and we can't have that kind of lack of coordination, lack of respect by these utility companies on the residents going forward. So there'll be follow-up meetings and follow-up discussions on that. Otherwise, I think for the most part the paving turned out well, and I think Chief Curdy said that the last time they paved Kindercamac was 20 years ago, so 20 years from now, I'm not really going to care when they pave Kindercamac again.
When are they doing the white lines?
I would
I thought
assume
that was
once
gonna be
they do.
done right
Well,
away.
usually it'll take, yeah, within, I would expect it to be any day. It's not something that requires any time period to elapse. It must be just them scheduling, because Kindercamac was the only road in the program. I guess they're doing several roads over the county, so I'm sure the contractor will be back. And also, I did receive an email from Barry Costanza, who I believe is the superintendent of roads for the county, who was very effusively praising River Edge Police Department, and particularly Lieutenant Walker, with regard to the traffic control, because believe it or not, we had so much need for officers that we couldn't staff it. So we had members of the sheriff department, we had all different jurisdictions covering some of these posts, and Lieutenant Walker had to coordinate all that. And again, at the end of the day, despite the sheer 2.5 mile project, I think it went off rather well, at least in terms of that. So thank you to Lieutenant Walker and the River Edge Police for always doing a great job. Councilwoman Davis mentioned there was a grand opening for the new Monsoon restaurant. the former Space of Babylon. Encourage everybody to try to go. They said they're very nice people, a Westwood family, I believe, and you don't have to be familiar with Indian food to go, and they will certainly be able to steer you to something which you will find to your liking, because spicy doesn't necessarily mean spicy.
I didn't hear anything
They use a lot of different spices, so I would encourage everyone to go. Councilman Ecafreda mentioned that the grand reopening of the diner is on September 10th. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. It looks like they've done a real massive overhaul, and I know the Sedaris family are very excited to get opened again, and we're looking forward to joining them doing that. Also, there will be a grand opening, although I believe they're open, on October 7th for the Sarah Michael Salon, which is in the Crest Plaza, the last space at the end. They've asked me to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony on the 7th of October. So that's open to everybody if you want to come to that. This week on the 8th, I was invited to speak at the annual naturalization ceremony that the Department of Immigration has at Newbridge Landing, where we swear in newly naturalized citizens. Last year there were 26 people from, I think, 23 different countries or whatever. It's a great event. If anyone's available to attend, I would certainly recommend.
What time is that?
I believe it's at 10.
What is it? What time?
10?
A.M.
Yes. You mentioned September 11th ceremony. On the 14th, River Edge Board of Education, Superintendent of Schools, and the PTOs are holding their new Families Night again this year, not at Memorial Park. Like I said previously, we're going to have one event at Cherry Hill, one at Roosevelt, starting at 6 p.m. Obviously, if you can shuffle back or show up at one of them, just to say hello to people, that would be appreciated. I've reached out to various departments to see if they're able to attend like they did last year. So looking forward to that event also. We mentioned the devastation that's occurred in Texas, and I ran into Peter Dunsey the other day as representing the Lions, and he had asked me about organizing some sort of town-wide relief drive. Apparently something similar was done after Katrina. The Lions had taken the lead. They had gotten in contact with specific communities, isn't that point, outside of Louisiana. And I said, I know I would certainly support, and I'm sure the council would support their efforts if they wanted to do something like that again. So I'll follow up with him, because I said basically if he's willing to take the lead, we'll certainly give him all the support we can. He will coordinate with whatever agencies and groups he did the last time. And let's just hope that we're not talking about doing this for people in Florida after next week with what's going to happen with Hurricane Irma. Yes?
I was at the Friends of the Library book sale yesterday, losing track of my days, and they're trying to get all of their books that they've got there, that they're trying to organize to get all of them together and find someone to take them down to Houston. If anybody knows anybody
That's exactly what Mr. Dunsey was talking about, so
okay.
maybe...
So maybe you could get in touch with Miss Mary.
So,
But they just want to take all the books that are in that thing and that garage.
Mayor, also, I just wanted to add one more thing after.
Go ahead.
I sent a text message to all members of the council, but I want to say for the record that DPW has put up the River Edge sign at King Mac Road in Maine. I think the sign looks very good. We will probably have to modify the scaffolding system behind it for the banners, make that a little bit taller, but I think DPW did a good job with that, with the assistance of Michelle Caridi from beautification.
Yes. Anybody, any more comments, questions? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.